And our next task is to dive into this nightmare here. Doesn't that look like fun? First impressions here, not great. Not great at all. Oh well. The mice really did a number on this thing. Well, you know, this may not even end up being a problem because we don't even know if this engine runs yet, so I think before we waste any more time on it, cleaning and what have you, I think we should probably see if we can actually get it to run. That might be helpful. I think all we can really do is clean it up and put it back together and hope for the best. I don't think we can make it any worse at this point. So I wanted to plug off the line here that went to the external oil filter because the line was broken anyway, so I just deleted it. But I went to look here and somebody's already taken the initiative to do it for me. This is what's left of the line, and this is their plug, and that just fits into here like this. And then we just shove this back in here and we're good to go. So thanks to whoever took the initiative to do that for me. That will save me so much time. If it works, is it wrong? In this case, probably yes, but we're gonna do it anyways. Just got our new Dakota Digital gauges wired up. Doesn't that look nice? Very modern. Dakota Digital is now sponsoring us, so we're going to be installing these units in all our vehicles. I love the LED digital cluster. It's very, very old-timey and retro. Really suits the rest of this vehicle here. think that hasn't run in a while. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but this engine might actually run today. That'd be exciting. Ew. That ain't good. That has not had an oil change for a long, long time. I know what you're thinking, oh, big spender putting fresh oil in this junk engine. Well, that thing doesn't deserve fresh oil, at least not yet anyways. So we have some previously enjoyed oil that came out of my Malibu, and we're gonna dump this in here. I did run it through a paint filter, so it's basically brand new. it's a new day here and things aren't looking too good for this engine. Yesterday I ran this thing through a couple of heat cycles and it's quite chuffy, and it's got a miss and bottom end noise that doesn't sound too good. So I think the next thing to do here is going to be a compression test, see where we're at there, and that'll kind of dictate how much further I go into this particular engine. Just wanted to show here that the throttle is currently wide open, so give your keyboard a rest, folks. Everything is set up here for our compression test. Well, I don't know what happened here, but that kind of exploded. Well, it's way better than I thought it was, actually, but number 5 seems to be problematic. Oh, yeah. Rings. Well, number 5 is 120 wet, so I guess we got either a bad ring or sticky rings or something going on there, but overall we're way better than I was expecting, actually. So I'm not too sure what to do now. I guess the smoke is probably just us burning off all the oil that I dumped in this thing. So yeah, I really don't know. Like, maybe this one will come back around if we run it some more. I'm not sure. I don't want to run it for any longer without a rad on it, so that kind of puts us in a tricky spot here. I was already digging out intake and exhaust manifolds to get that 235 running last night, and now suddenly this possibly might still be a candidate for our truck here. We still have that mysterious noise going on down here, so that's a problem. But I think what we're gonna have to do is just put a radiator on it and run this thing for a little bit longer and see what it does for us before we give up on it entirely. water pump has definitely left the chat. I guess good news though is I can't seem to hear the knock anymore, so it almost self-healed. But what I was thinking is when I first started it, I just had this clutch dealio there. I just had it loose, and then so I'm wondering if that was just rattling and that was making a noise. So I tied it up with the spring there for this last startup, but I don't know. I think next step here is we're going to do a compression test on number 5 again and see if it came up at all, and then we'll proceed from there. Well, it did improve. Not too sure what to do here. Compression on this one is now up to 105, so everything else is about the same, but the plugs are still getting soaked in oil, which all the oil I dumped in should have been cleared out by now, so that's not great. And then of course we look at the plugs that came out, and well, despite the corrosion, they look like that's a good one there. They had a lot of oil on them as well, so I think this engine was plumb wore out when it was parked, is what I'm thinking. So I'm not too sure what the best course of action here is now. All right, well, I have a plan. Yes, I do. What the plan is I forgot it already. Hold on. Yeah, plan is I'm going to get this 235 running now, and then whatever engine runs better is going to be the one that goes in our truck. Now this engine here is actually better than I thought it was going to be, but it's still not good. It's still using oil, it's smoking, and it's not running the greatest. We can still do some more tuning and run it in some more and change the water pump and this, that, and the other thing, but I'm kind of over spending any more time on this. I think it's probably best decision is just get this engine running, pick the best one of two, and whichever one runs better is going in the truck. So I don't have time to waste any more time on this time wasting endeavor. Reason I've decided to just move on for now is, besides the obvious issues with this, there's some other issues as well. The flywheel is not in great shape. I resurfaced it with some sandpaper, but it's still, not great. And clutch is obviously very mousy and rusty. I can't buy new clutches for these. This is the heavy duty clutch. It has to get sent off to be relined, and the pressure plate has to get sent off to be rebuilt. So that's not an option. Another problem here is the front motor mount plate is actually cracked and broken. And I do have one here that isn't cracked and broken, but to change it, you got to pull everything off the front of the engine. You have to pull the cam out and all that to change it. So I was just going to weld it, but that's still a nasty, ugly welding job that I don't really want to do if this engine isn't going to be better than the other engines. Before you hit the keyboard and start making all kinds of wild suggestions and telling me how to spend my money and time, I just want to let you know that this is a $0 situation here. I'm not spending any money on this truck that I don't have to. Oh, I could just throw a set of rings in that and I could have that engine fully rebuilt in 5 minutes, you dumb kid. Well, you probably could, bless your heart, but I live in reality. This isn't some Motor Trend show here. I don't have any money to spend on this crap, especially on this truck that it's going in. This is just a bonus project. This engine I consider as a freebie. It came in a truck that I parted out, and by the time I parted out and sold off the bits and pieces from it and used bits and pieces to fix other trucks, the truck was free. So this engine did not cost me anything. The engine, the 235 over there, that engine was free. It was just given to me by a guy that was building a hot rod. He said, come get it, so I got it. Some folks seem to think that I'm independently wealthy here, but that is not the case. The only way this YouTube channel works for me is if I don't spend any money on these projects beyond just the absolute bare minimum. So I know you've probably seen other big YouTube channels with like lots of subscribers and sponsors and all that crap, and they're out like building engines and whatever and buying all this brand new stuff or Ferraris or all that, but that's not what we can do here. And even if I could afford all that stuff, I would still be working with junk, because that's just what I do. Yes, there is new spark plugs and spark plug wires and a cap and rotor and fuel pump, and I guess a carb kit as well. But here's the deal. I've had a lot of these trucks and with these engines, and so I just swap parts over and over and over, and from truck to truck or engine to engine. And also you can buy like a tune-up kit for these engines off Rock Auto for like dirt cheap, so it's not even worth my time to mess around trying to clean up, you know, plug wires and dirty old nasty spark plugs and whatever. So to me, that's money well spent. That's a wise investment. Now I can just flip the switch and this thing starts right up, and I can take all these plugs, the carb and whatever else, and I can transfer it over to that other engine, and then if that engine's junk, we'll just transfer that to another engine and another engine and another engine until eventually we find something that hopefully isn't garbage. But as soon as I gotta crack one of these things open and start replacing all the inside parts and doing machine work and any of that, nope, that ain't happening. Sorry. Also, the plan for the truck that these engines are going in is basically just to use it as a tractor for moving vehicles around the yard. And I also do want it to be road legal, just so I can occasionally take it to the store and offend and scare normal people. Other than that, it's not going to be a highway cruiser. It's not like a daily driver or anything like that. I have realistic expectations for it, so it doesn't need to be super great, but at the same time, I don't want it to be constantly fouling out the spark plugs or sending a big smoke show as it goes down the road. That's just not great, and it also can't have a massive rod knock. So other than that, basically anything goes. Well, we got our 235 drug out. Now this is a full pressure 235 with the 848 head, which is apparently more desirable for some reason. So this is probably, if this engine runs good, is a better option for our truck anyways. The reason we didn't just start out with this engine is I was saving it for my 36 Chevy, but I've kind of talked myself into going a little more hot rod with the 36 Chevy. So we have a little bit more offensive engine option for that we're going to use, I think. And don't worry, it'll still be old school American engine. I'm not upset at all about the time we spent on this engine. I think with a little more tuning and tweaking and fiddling and adjusting, we could probably get it running better, and possibly we run some thicker oil and just run it for a while. It might come back around. But I think it's still worth my time to try and get this engine going, see which one is the better of the two. And if that engine runs better, then it'll be going in the truck outside. I'm not going to get rid of this engine. I'm just going to keep it around. If I ever end up with another truck with a seized or missing engine, probably likely, I could always just toss this engine into that. And a vehicle that moves itself around is better than a vehicle that doesn't move itself around, regardless of how crappy the engine is. So, and you know, I may get ambitious someday and want to fix this one up and make it 100%. Probably highly unlikely, but I don't think it's worth throwing away anyways. I just can't bring myself to do that. So anyways, this video is getting pretty long in the tooth, so I think we're gonna end up having to make this into a two-part series. I don't know if any of you ever started on a project that was only supposed to be like 1 or 2 days, then it quickly escalates, then you regret starting it at all, but you don't have a choice but to finish it because everything's in the way now. Well, that's where we are, but I did kind of have fun getting that other engine running, and I think I'll enjoy hearing this engine run as well. It's kind of a fun thing to get an old dead engine to go again, even if it is garbage. So that'll be round 2 on this engine, and we'll also be putting this engine into the truck in round 2, and maybe doing a post-mortem on old Nocky there. And so that'll be the second episode in this saga. And thanks so much everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for all the kind donations to the channel via PayPal and the super thanks, as well as our monthly contributors over on Patreon, who've been keeping the show on the air for us now for quite a while. So I appreciate all those folks Very, very kind of them to do that. And again, thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you again next week when we get this engine running, hopefully. And if you're watching this video, we probably already have this engine running, and we're probably already well on our way to swapping whatever engine is better into the truck. So we're a little ahead of schedule on the videos here. Another fine use of time, Kyle.